Good morning, welcome to the latest edition of the Iscah Q&A video series. This week we have a bump of 14 questions for you about the points test, regional visas, accountants, company sponsorship, Tasmanian state sponsorship, newborn babies and lots more. We've taken a load of questions from our Facebook page over the last few weeks, edited them slightly, and here are our answers which hopefully help you with your application. Okay, let's get cracking. Question 1. Can I claim 5 points for 1 year of work experience in Australia? I'm a casual research assistant in a university since September 15. Worked on several projects. My work relates to being a mechanical engineer. Can I claim those points? What are the requirements for 1 year of work experience? Okay, so all the work you want to count must be after reaching the skill level for that occupation. So for an engineer, that is a bachelor degree or higher in that field. So once you've got that, you can start counting work at a skill level. The next thing is it's got to be at least 20 hours a week. So if you work 10 hours one week and 30 hours the following week, you can't average that out to being 20 weeks. Only one of those weeks, the 30-hour week, was 20 or more. So only that week counts. The 10 hours is lost forever. So what you need to do is have 52 weeks where you worked for at least 20 hours or more, doing the duties of your occupation. You also need to be paid at the professional level for that work, and you normally need to provide pay slips and a work reference that details the duties of your job so the department can match that against your occupation and go, yep, that's work at a skilled level. That's how you claim 5 points. What are the chances of Tasmanian state sponsorship under a 489? Okay, look, that's becoming a more popular option, Tasmanian state sponsorship. Obviously a lot of students in the pro rata occupations like IT and accountants, etc. are finding it difficult to meet the pass mark, difficult to find state sponsorship, so they're looking at other options outside their state. And one of the options is Tasmanian state sponsorship. One of the categories there is for someone who may be willing to move to Tasmania and have a job offer. So their website talks about you being able to be nominated by them for a 489 or a 190 visa if you have got a job offer in their state, any job, and are willing to go and settle in their state. Okay, so that looks quite attractive. The problem is lots of students know about that, and Tasmania have got a limited number of places. So the competition for those places is increasing quite rapidly at the moment. We contacted the state government in Tasmania 2 weeks ago, and we said to them, look, we're trying to advise clients if that's a good option for them. And so what are the chances of someone who not only gets a job offer, but actually moves to Tasmania, starts the job, gets a rental agreement in place, and then applies for your state sponsorship? Are they a good chance to get sponsored? Because that's more than actually is on their website. The state government have come back and said, look, the competition is getting more intense for their places. They look at the type of employment, whether you are in the state, how many points you have, what your English language ability is. So there's lots of criteria they look at which isn't necessarily listed on their website, and they at the end make this comment: we understand your situation, but it is best for you not to advise that there is a good chance of them being nominated. Okay, so take that as you wish. It is an option for you, but if you move to Tasmania and you get a job and things go well and you apply for state sponsorship, there's no guarantee you'll get that. Okay, it is an option. Hopefully you find a good employer and they're willing to nominate you for an employer category anyway, but don't just read the website. You need to understand there's so many people applying for that a bit like New South Wales, what's on their website is not guaranteeing an invite. It says meet at least this and then being our best candidates that we invite each month. Okay, what's the possibility of 489 relative sponsorship for an accountant? Okay, unfortunately the chances at the moment are zip. That's a pro rata occupation. All the places for that occupation are going to the 189s. There are none left for the 489s. Immigration are miles off their target for the 489s. They're continuing to invite 200 people every round and continuing to get 20, 30 people meeting the criteria. So they're nowhere near their targets. And the reason is that they have totally stopped inviting pro rata 489s, which would have been the majority of the 200 they want each round. So until they change that policy, the chances of a 489 relative sponsorship as an accountant, unfortunately, is zero. Okay, hi Iscah team, I have one question. I've recently been granted a 489 visa to Tasmania. Does that mean I must live there for 2 years to get my PR, or can I move to another regional area? Do I need to obtain a release letter? Okay, so the condition on your 489 just says you need to live and work and study in a regional area. Does not have to be the regional area that sponsored you. So even though Tasmania sponsored you, you can move to anywhere defined as regional. So regional New South Wales, regional Victoria, anywhere in South Australia including Adelaide, anywhere in Western Australia including Perth. So you can move to lots of different areas. You do not need the permission of the Tasmanian government. You don't need a release letter no matter what they say to you. Immigration don't make that requirement. They just say you can live in any regional area that you wish, not just the area that sponsored you. Okay, one of my friends who's currently overseas, she qualifies Australian 2-year study, has a skills assessment, English requirement, she's lodged PR, she hasn't been asked for any documents yet. When would she be asked? Okay, so the processing for a permanent skilled visa once you've lodged it under the points test is only 1 or 2 months. It's really quick. So your friend shouldn't wait for immigration to ask for those documents. She should try and get her police clearance now, get her medicals booked, get all the documents in there. In fact, she probably should have got those ready already. But certainly she can lodge those without immigration asking for them, upload them onto her application, and that'll mean a lot quicker decision and will make the case officer's job a lot easier. Hi there, I'm currently on a 457, recently got married, I want to apply for a visa for my wife. I want to ask which documents do I need to apply for her. She's in India. Okay, so you don't need a new sponsorship from your employer, but you do need a letter from them saying they're happy to extend the sponsorship obligations from you to her as well. You need a marriage certificate and you need evidence it's a genuine relationship. And she needs to apply for her 457 visa online in order to get the same visa as you. She may need medicals and police clearances and stuff as well, depending on what the answers are on her application and what country she comes from. Hi, a very important question. We've recently got a 190 permanent visa. We were going to move to Perth. My father-in-law passed away. Now we're planning to move for good in July. My mother-in-law lives with us, wants to come with us. Is there a visa for her so she can join us for 12 months or 2 years on a temporary visa? Okay, there is a long-term visitor visa that your mother-in-law can apply for. It allows stays of 12 months in every 18-month period. So she can come for 12 months, go back for 6 months, come for another 12 months, go back for 6 months. That's probably her best option at the moment. There is a new longer-term temporary visa that is going to be released in July this year. It'll be quite expensive, but it might be something that meets her living situation, but we don't know the criteria yet. So have a look in July and you can see if that matches up. But for the moment, the long-term visitor visa, 12 months in, 6 months out, it works pretty well. Hi, is it mandatory to obtain a work experience assessment from the CPA? In the absence of this assessment, I already have a work reference from my employer, offer letter, payroll slips, bank statements. Do you think I can go ahead and lodge for 75 points safely? Okay, you don't need to get a workplace or work experience assessment from the assessing body. It does give you a little more confidence that the department will accept it. If they say it's accepted, doesn't mean immigration definitely accept it, but 99% they will accept it if the skills assessing body have. But certainly lots of people claim work experience even without the assessing body having made the work experience assessment. And really what happens is the client just says, look, here's a detailed list of my duties, here's my pay slips, here's a copy of the contract, and if they can prove it, immigration will accept it even without a CPA work experience assessment. It's up to you if you want to take that risk or not. Hi, I'm sitting on 65 points for an accountant occupation. Should I lodge my EOI or should I wait for 70 points? Should I wait till I get to 70 points? Okay, so if I was you, I'd lodge an EOI at 65 points now. You never know if the policy changes, that might be useful for you to have that in there. Later on, if you improve your marks to 70 points, presumably you're maybe claiming work experience or you're going to a higher age group, then you can update the EOI and then it can get to 70 points. But I'd lodge the EOI at 65 points now. The other thing I'd seriously consider is maybe doing another course that might give you a better option at skill migration. Maybe as a pre-primary school teacher or a secondary school teacher, you can go to a one-year grad diploma in one of those areas. And if the rules stay the same, those occupations are on the skill list. The grad diploma will take you around 12 months and you only need 60 points to get your PR under those occupations. There's nowhere near the competition there is as accountants. Doesn't mean you have to work as a teacher, it's just a means to an end, get you through the points test. Hi, can you please guide me that if I can use an academic IELTS for PR or it has to be the general test? Immigration accept either the academic or the IELTS. Obviously, if you're getting a skills assessment from an assessing body, they might have their own requirement for IELTS. So, for example, as an accountant or a teacher or a nurse, they require academic IELTS for the skills assessment. But your question just is about, for immigration purposes, the department will accept, the immigration department will accept general or academic. Your skills assessing body can have a different requirement. Hi, I'd like to clarify one visa issue. My sister's married to an Australian PR, initially planning to visit Australia on a tourist visa. After that, while staying in Australia, she will apply for a partner visa. Does this kind of process work, or is there any drawbacks? Okay, you can apply for it. She can apply for a partner visa from overseas or in Australia. The problem is if she gets a visitor visa to come to Australia, if the only reason she's coming here is to apply for permanent residence, then she's not a genuine visitor. A visitor visits Australia and leaves. She intends to visit and apply for something else. So if when she's applying for the visitor visa, if the reason that she's applying is to apply for PR here when she arrives, she won't get the visitor visa. She'll be refused as a non-genuine visitor. If she comes through the airport and customer says, hey, what are you going to do in Australia? And she says, I'm coming here to apply for my partner visa. Here's all my forms. I'm really happy. I'm about to see my husband. They're likely to refuse her entry because, again, she's not a visitor. So if she's coming on a visitor visa, she needs to have some other purpose to be here. If after arrival on the visitor visa, and it doesn't have a no further stay condition on it, she later wants to apply for PR, then she can do that on a partner visa. Hope that makes sense. Otherwise, if she doesn't want to take that risk, she applies from overseas for the partner visa. Might take 10, 12, 15 months to process, and then maybe apply for a tourist visa to come for a short visit whilst that partner visa is being processed. And often the department will then be more generous. They might put a no further stay on, but they'll let her visit backwards and forwards during the partner visa processing. Hi Iscah, glad for your news and follow-up with skilled migration. I just wanted to know how many points is the invitation going for electrical engineering? Thanks in advance. Okay, at the moment 60 points gets you an immediate invitation as an electrical engineer. So yeah, that's cool. Okay, hi, my brother has done a Cert 2 and 3 in welding. Is this profession included in the PR list? And if it's how can he get PR? Alright, so if he comes to Australia and completes a 2-year course in welding, he can then apply for the 18-month temporary graduate visa, and then he needs to go through the Job Ready program for 12 months. Then he can get a full skill assessment as a welder, and then he can look at whether he can apply for a 189 visa. So that's his process. Get 2 years of study in Australia in a welding course, then apply for the temporary graduate visa, go through the Job Ready program, then look at a permanent 189. Of course, that's quite a few years down the track. That's going to be at least 3.5 years down the track. We know the rules really well today, we don't know what the rules will be in 3.5 years' time. So it's a little bit of a risk, but that's the current process for a welder who wants to come here and study. Hi Iscah, my daughter was born during the processing of my 489 visa. I could not add her because she was very premature, born at 24 weeks, born 3 months before expected date. Wow. So I could not get a passport for her because she was admitted in hospital. Meantime, the visa was granted. I asked my agent to inform immigration and to hold the application until I get a passport for her. Long story short, she was born during processing. I could not add her and she was hospitalised for 4 months. Please now, should I pay a full $3,500 for a new 489? Okay, so from what you're saying, the baby was born during the 489 processing. By law, that baby is automatically included in the application. Doesn't matter you haven't been able to tell immigration. Doesn't matter that you didn't have a passport for your baby. That baby by law was on that application. The fact that you and the rest of your family have been granted their 489s does not stop the fact the department have got a responsibility to make a decision on that baby's 489 as well. So you need to complete a form 1022, notification of change in circumstance, attach a certified copy of the birth certificate to the form and mail the processing office and tell them this baby was born during the processing and I'd like a decision on their application as well. Chances are you might need a short medical letter as well for the baby, but your agent is wrong if they're telling you that that baby needs to be added. The baby, added later on and you need to pay a fee. You don't. That baby was automatically an applicant and you can still sort that out with the department even though the 489 has been decided for you and the rest of your family. Hi, I was refused my student visa because of the lack of funds and have lodged an appeal. Can I lodge an RSMS application now as I'm only on a bridging visa? Okay, so assuming that it's a bridging visa A, you can obtain a bridging visa B, travel overseas for a couple of days to lodge an RSMS application, return to Australia on the bridging visa B as part of your AAT appeal. If the AAT, and obviously if they can grant the RSMS visa to you, excellent, you're a PR. If the AAT appeal for your student visa finishes before they've decided on the 187 application, then you can obtain a bridging visa E to remain in Australia for the rest of that 187 processing, and hopefully things go well for you. Okay folks, that's it all for this week. Remember, the rules are always changing, so if you've got any questions, get in touch with us at www.iscah.com, and if you really want our help, get in touch with us for a full assessment and ask how we can manage your application, and I will talk to you soon.